Now, typically when you get involved in real estate transactions, you want to focus on off-market properties, mainly because those are where the best deals are found, especially in today's competitive real estate market. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Derek, aka Flippingahouse, and if you're new here, we talk real estate, financial literacy, and just how to get better. But today we're going to be diving into one of my favorite topics, and that's money, and not just a little bit of money. We're going to be talking about how we recently made over $30,000 in a little over 30 days, and how you can do the same thing with little to no money out of your pocket. That's why I love real estate, so stick around. It's going to be a good one. I don't want you to think that this is some clickbait or scam. I'm just a regular guy who started in real estate a little over 6 years ago, and I've learned different strategies and ways to put deals together, and I think it's important that we share in-depth details and not gatekeep this information, because I know when I started, people weren't going into deep diving deals like this. They weren't showing me HUD statements or a closing statement or anything to prove what they were talking about. So I think it's very important, because I know once you see that it's capable, you're more likely to take action, and that's what I'm here for. So let's talk about what we did to actually obtain over $30,000 in around 34 days, and how you can do the same thing. Now, before you shy away and you think, Derek, I don't know anything about real estate, I don't think this is for me, I want to simplify it as much as possible. And for us, how we found this lead was actually through a wholesaler. And if you're not sure what that means, wholesaling properties is something that I talk about often on this channel. Check out some of my other videos. But a wholesaler is just someone who gets a property under contract, and then they will then sell the rights to purchase that contract for a higher price, and then when you close, they'll get a fee, and they'll be selling those properties to end buyers like me and yourself if you're watching this video. Now, one good thing for us is when he brought us this deal, we actually already purchased another flip from him in the same neighborhood. Now, even though they were very similar, the numbers were completely different. And if you guys want to see more in depth of actually what the house looked like before, when we got it under contract, check out the link below to one of my latest videos where I talk about buying two flips in the same neighborhood. Now, initially, this house, we thought it was worth around $230,000, and it's important that I give you that number, because that is what we like to refer to as the ARV, or the after repair value. Now, typically when you get involved in real estate transactions, you want to focus on off-market properties, mainly because those are where the best deals are found, especially in today's competitive real estate market. Now, it was important for me to share that with you, because when you buy real estate, especially off-market deals, you want to make sure that you're buying them at a discount. And a simple rule of thumb is the 70% rule. So 70% of the ARV minus any repairs. You basically want to keep it all in under that 70% number. And it's important to know that number, because if you're doing bird deals or if you're looking to flip, this is just kind of like a safe number where you know you'll still be able to make money even when things go wrong, because they will go wrong. It's real estate. Now, going back to the deal, when the wholesaler brought it to us, like I said, we knew that the property was worth $230,000, and we know that we need to buy it at 70%, which would put us around $160,000. Now, for this deal, we brought in a private lender. You could also look at using hard money, and once again, if you're not sure about these terms, check out some of my other videos on how to fund your flip. I'll link it below as well. Now, because it was my private lender and we have an amazing relationship and he funds deals for us, we were actually able for him to bring $165,000, which is about $5,000 more than that 70% rule. It was important for us to get him to bring a little bit more money, just because we actually contracted this property above 70%, which may not be a smart move for a beginner, but if you're constantly running numbers and you feel comfortable and you see that there's enough spread to make a deal happen, don't be scared to pull the trigger. And that's what we did on this deal. Now, originally when the wholesaler brought it to us, he was asking $185,000, and unfortunately that didn't work for us, so we made a reasonable offer that would work. Once we looked at the property and I saw the pictures, the homeowner had recently updated the windows, the tile, they had added granite in the kitchen, so basically all of the majors had been taken care of within the last year, which is a huge selling point when it comes to first-time home buyers. Now, after going back and forth, we were able to contract this property with the wholesaler for $172,500, and we actually had to bring some money to closing. And I know that may scare you, because you're like, Derek, I don't have thousands of dollars to bring to closing, and that's fine, because I'm about to give you guys some tips on how you could do this deal with no money out of pocket, because fortunately for us, we are in a situation where we have money. This is what we do for a living. But if you're getting started out or you're doing this on the side, you may not be sitting on mounds of cash. And I know I wasn't when I got started, but I don't want that to hold you back. So let's talk about how much money that we had to bring to the table and how you could do the similar deal even if you didn't have that money. Now, when it came down to closing, we did have some closing costs and some things that we had to incur on top of that, you know, initial contract price. So with the 172.5, and then we had the closing cost of around $7,500, we ended up having to bring to close $15,035.70. But like I said, if you don't have that money, let's talk about some ways that you could put this deal together. Now, I always tell people when you're getting in real estate, you do not have to have good credit, but it definitely helps. And this is going to be one of those situations where it helps. So let's talk about some least risky ways to some more risky ways. And no, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you, if I had a deal and I knew that I could get $30,000 in return, this is how I would put the deal together if I was in your situation where you didn't have $15,000. Number one, you could always ask a family member or someone that you trust if they would be willing to lend you $15,000, and you could guarantee them a return, whether that's 10 or 12% and maybe a couple points at closing. You could also just talk to them about returning a flat rate. So maybe if they gave you $15,000 and you asked to hold it for, 45 or 60 days, you would give them $2,000 on top. Whatever the structure is, you can work through that. That's the joy of real estate. But they're guaranteed and secured by a deed. Even though they'll be in the second position, their money is guaranteed if something went wrong. So that's something to think about. Now, the second thing you could do is you could go to a credit card and you could pull that money off on the credit card. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends, when they got started in real estate, because at these seminars, they teach you to increase your limits and how you can pull money to invest in real estate. Now, once again, those come with high interest rates and it can be a little bit more risky, but credit cards should be used and leveraged as good debt rather than bad debt. So many times people go buy TVs and cars and rims and all these things they don't need, when you could actually use $15,000 to then turn that into, over $32,000, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Now, the last thing that I could think of are two options. Number one, you could partner with someone on the deal and do a JV agreement and split the profits and figure out what works for both parties. Or you could see if they have a retirement account that they could possibly lend out of or against, and you could then give them a return. Either way, it's all about putting the deal together and creating a win-win solution. And remember, a piece of a watermelon is way, way better than a whole grape. So it's okay to share, because the idea is we want to do multiple deals, not just one. But let's talk about the deal some more. So we brought $15,000 to closing, and next our idea was to turn around and relist the property as soon as possible, right? Because we know it's worth $230,000. The seller has already done all these repairs for us, but there was still a little bit of negligence that went on with the house. So we had a couple things to do, such as clean out the property, get a nice deep clean, and then we had some drywall and paint touch-up repairs. So all in all, we ended up spending on construction repairs, it was around $4,000, just because it was a decent sized home. And then with the clean out, we had $400, and then the deep clean a good $300, and some landscaping cost occurred as well. And then I had to buy some paint materials. So all in all, we ended up coming out of pocket about $4,800 on the repairs for this property. So all in all, we were out of pocket cost for $19,884.07. And once again, a lot of those things like paying the GC, buying materials, these are all things that can be put on a credit card. And all in all, we were in this deal for 34 days total. So it's not a long period of time, and you would really just be getting your first statement, which you could then pay off immediately after. We then listed the property a little bit under that $230,000, hoping that it would sell over, and that's exactly what happened. We listed the property for $225,000, and after the first 4 days, we had, I think, 6 to 7 offers all over asking, and we ciphered through those. And we obviously went with a cash offer, just because cash, they can close a lot quicker, and it's all cash. They don't have to go through bank contingencies and appraisals. So we used that to our advantage, and they offered $2,000 over. We got them up to $232,000 was their final offer. We signed at that number, and after a week of being under contract, we went through inspection period, and to be expected, a few things did pop up, as no homes are perfect, especially those that have been built 20-30 years ago. And normally what we do is we like to negotiate with them. Sometimes I'll offer cash, sometimes I'll fix some of the things that they're requesting. It really just depends on the buyer and what their expectations are. Now with this person, since they were doing a cash sale, it is to be expected that with cash buyers that they will then drop you or try to price drop you because they know they're using cash. But I want you guys to remember, especially in 2022, we're in a very competitive real estate market. So it is okay to negotiate, but you don't want to drop your candy in the lobby or give all your cards up front, because people will take that and then they'll run with it. So after inspection, they actually tried to price drop us about $20,000, which is absurd. Normally people come back, $2,000 or $3,000 or a couple repairs that they're requesting, but $20,000 is a lot. So for me, I countered with offering $3,000. That's usually my safe space, and they declined, and they dropped it though to $10,000, which I then declined as well and told them that we'll just back out of the contract because we already had so many other offers. I wasn't going to get in a corner and just feel like I had to pull the trigger when there was no need, when we had backup offers. And once again, if you guys have watched my videos, you've heard me say this: a good deal is one that you can walk away from. So don't ever feel like you have to make a decision just because somebody or a realtor is pressuring you to make a decision. Now, after a couple of days of falling out of contract, we were working with some new buyers, and those original ones actually came back to us and they offered instead another $3,000. And since they were closing the very next week, it was all cash, we decided it would be smart to just go ahead and work with these people because we were so long in the process. We just felt like it was easier. And you have to think, the longer that we hold this property, we're going to have longer holding costs. And when you start over with a new buyer and they're using conventional financing or FHA, it's minimum 45 days. So that's another month of holding costs. So regardless, even though I didn't want to give up the full $10,000, I felt that giving up the $6,000 or $7,000 was a safer bet, and we still made decent money, as you will see. Now another week went by, and this was actually one of the easier closings that we've had. We went to the closing table and I walked away with a check for $50,240.90. And if you guys remember, we had about $20,000 into the deal, a little under, so that left us with a total profit of $30,356.83. And we'll actually be getting a few hundred more dollars back once I canceled the insurance. But I just wanted to show you guys, this is how you can put real estate deals together, using someone else's money, using then your own money, or financing it with credit cards, or partnering with someone. I mean, you can literally do real estate with no money out of pocket. And literally in 34 days, we were able to make over $30,000, which is insane because when I waited tables, I made around that same amount. So I hope this video was very informational for you guys and you got a lot of nuggets. I'm going to input a couple screenshots so you guys can see, my spreadsheet, what it looks like, and the actual bottom of the HUD, so you can see that I'm telling the truth, guys. I just want to be as transparent as possible with you all, so you know that I'm being serious and I'm not just out here talking. I actually do this business. And if you made it this far in the video, I truly appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. And if you're not already, make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok, as I'm dropping daily videos over there as well. And if you want to see what my day in the life or vlogs look like, make sure to check those videos out. Until next time, peace.